All right. All right, Matt, we're on.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on, everybody who is joining us and not caught up in AOC's web, getting murked in Among Us? I guess everybody's getting laid out by Ilhan and AOC over there right now.
What are we streaming to? YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube today.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
Shoot. But that it's really been a thing over there with the two congresswomen showing off their gamer skills.
Yeah, they're still. I can't believe they're still playing.
Yeah, they've been at that for a little while, man. But look, this is a setup I wanted to go and show everybody right away. You look at this thing. Freaking Ilhan, like she's a gamer for real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
Like that's no joke. Like, I mean, you could probably just tell from the specs, bro. Like, check out these specs that she's throwing out here.
I mean, when shit's purple like that, I usually take it to mean it's fancy.
Oh, yeah, and then when she puts it, look at this i7 core, 6 terabyte. That's like a custom build for the game, bro. Like that shit's intense. You probably download.
And that's
Call
just
of
like
Duty
in her office in Congress.
Probably that's where it is, and then like you could probably download Call of Duty twice on that motherfucker.
God, she's so epically based. Oh,
yeah,
dude, she's
absolutely
so based. Like, I mean, you can stand AOC. Like,
yeah,
I stand Ilhan.
Well, I mean, it really was. It was a thing that AOC was.
And she listens to Chapo too. Is the other thing.
Yeah, you were hearing that on the stream. I didn't get to hear too much of the stream at all, but
no,
I
Ilhan
mean,
fucking confirmed that she listened to it. Like she said something. I forget what it was. But she like replied to one of their tweets one time.
That means there's hope. You know, we get a big enough traction. Maybe we'll get the congresswoman to actually listen in on us. But here you go. AOC's Twitch stream is currently one of the biggest of all time. She had I think they said something like 200,000 subscribers the same night that she announced that she was gonna go on with Hasan Piker, and do this whole thing with the game Among Us. I'm not in touch with my gamer skills as I used to be, so I'm not as familiar with the game. I mean, from the description of it,
people have been playing it. I just I wasn't really into it. I tried it a little bit, but just I mean, like I said. It's like if you played with a bunch of friends, it'd probably be fun, but like I couldn't see just like playing with random strangers on the internet.
Yeah, I mean that's gamer culture now, right? Everybody just goes and plays on with whoever's online and does all kinds of shit.
Yeah, they play a game for like 2 weeks. Yeah, they play a game for like a few weeks, and it's just all anybody talks about. And
right.
Move on to something else.
Yeah, I mean it shows that they're at least they're current with it, because it doesn't come off as. You know what I kind of equate it to? You remember when Hillary was running, and she did that whole thing in Milwaukee or was somewhere? Was it? No, it couldn't have been because she didn't go to Wisconsin, right? But she did that whole beer thing where she was having to like serve out beer from the tap.
Hillary did this?
Yeah. She was serving out beer from the tap, and like she had no idea how to do it, so she just looked like a completely out of touch person. And like all the comments would be like, "There's so much head in that thing, it's gonna start charging."
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a similar setup there with AOC and Ilhan, where it's like, okay. Do they really know what they're doing, or are they really about this and they're not just patronizing to a demographic, right? Like it could come off as fake if they don't know what they're doing. And like the fact that, you know, Ilhan has such a base gamer setup, and then they're both apparently really good.
Yeah.
You know, that just turned into, I mean, it just adds to their already positive reputations among at least our generation. I think even Gen Z now.
Yeah.
So
so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of the whole stream, right? So with Hasan here, and then was to make a voting plan at iwillvote.com and declare orange sus on Among Us. I mean, that's she just she says. Well, her tweet, it says, "Join me." I'm not sure, Pokemaniel, I can't say that. Hasan, the Hun, and more on Twitch tonight as we help folks make a voting plan at iwillvote.com and officially declare orange sus on Among Us. So, the way she carries
declare
herself,
what?
Declare orange sus. That's what it says. I mean, I don't know. I figure that's a Among Us term. If anybody plays the game, and is joining us on the stream and not looking at Ilhan and AOC, then clue us in. Yeah, I feel like that hello fellow kids meme right about now, but but the purpose is to get out the vote, right? So in that respect, I mean, it seems like at least she's proven popular enough for a lot of people to go and check in and watch her game out for a few hours, because she's been on there for a little bit already. Let's see if I can go and hop over there really fast. So let's go to the stream. Yeah, you can see she's still gaming it up.
Is she?
Yep. Let me see if I don't got any sound on here though.
311,000.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for Hasan, and all I saw was this fine-looking smart lady.
I'll try O2 first.
I don't know who this is.
Yep, there you go.
Like, I wonder if anybody thought that.
I mean, look at that. It's dope. And then it shows.
Someone else was there, wasn't there? Oh, Pokey's there.
I mean, she knows like what she's like. She's really doing what she's.
I mean, it's not hard to play. I don't think. I think you just do.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, is it a phone? Is it a phone game? Because I heard
it.
different things. Is it supposed to be a phone game?
I mean, I think it's available on any platform. Like, I downloaded it on my iPad.
Right. So I mean, it's supposed to be like a mobile game, like an iOS game.
Okay.
I mean, it's real simple, like this, so it's like you can play it on anything.
Yeah, you see that? I mean, like,
obviously Ilhan has that sick rig.
Yeah, she has that rig for a phone game. That was my point. I'm like, damn, she's a gamer for real.
I wonder if she like got like the DCC or whatever, like the Biden campaign to buy her a new rig. If she's like, I'm going to do voter outreach for you.
I mean, look, not for nothing, but a congressperson makes decent money.
There's Pokey again.
They make decent money. They don't make like, millionaire money. I think they make like like 150, something like that.
Let's see. Let's look that up really fast while we're.
Or like 165, I think.
Let's see. Congress.
Someone just closed it.
Person.
Or not.
Salary. Let's see. Senators and House of Representative members get $174,000 a year.
Yeah. So I said 165.
Yeah.
Close.
Wow.
Like,
oh wait, no.
How do you follow the chat with that many people in there?
I don't think you can. I mean, check this out. Look at all the people coming in and chatting. Look how fast this shit goes.
What Pokimane did in the way that she threw Toast under the bus was the most evil.
Wow.
I wonder if Hasan's taking it easy on her.
Well, apparently a lot of people were thinking that he was like simping pretty hard for her.
I thought, you know what? Like, there's no way they'll believe it.
I mean, who among us could say they wouldn't, do the same?
That was awesome.
No, I mean,
Thank
like
you
on
so
the real though,
much.
like if you're on there like streaming some game that you're pretty decent at, I mean, would you take the opportunity to just ask her a bunch of hard-hitting questions, or would you just, simp and game out?
I mean, maybe. Like, I don't know. What would you ask her? Like, what does she bet on? Like,
No, that's why I would. I mean, would you talk about like her criticism that she gets from the left, and then some of the things like the mama bear stuff, like all the things that they like to hold against her that I think are pretty stupid.
I might make fun of the mama bear thing.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Like, I mean,
well,
not for.
I mean, I wouldn't like
so much. Thank you, Hasan.
put her on the spot, but I might make fun of her a little bit.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I wouldn't want to do like any kind of gotcha situation with her, but I mean, I would bring up like, hey, like, for nothing else, you stick to your position. You stick to your positions, which is if you're on the left, you want to go ahead and that's what you want. You want somebody to stick to their policies. Right, hold on, let's hear. I think she's signing off.
Everyone so much for playing, and let's all participate in this election and save our democracy.
I'm checking our levels.
Oh yeah.
Good chat.
IWillVote.com. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Do you guys want to still play, or what's the deal?
That was so fun. Here, let me exit out of this.
Cool.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Checking out the chat, and this was
I wonder if they got any new Biden
crazy
voters.
Marathon session. I played even longer than I anticipated, but that's because we were just having a blast.
483,000 followers
thank you
now.
everyone so much for joining with us today. Again,
Damn, when I followed her earlier, she
it's
had like
so important
20K.
that each and every one of us turns out to vote. And if
she streamed out for 3.5 hours,
can't vote,
just saying,
ask your
she's just
family,
telling everybody
ask
to
your
vote.
Parents, ask your cousins, ask everyone you know that can vote what their voting
I want to
plan
hear
is.
this.
And that's a really great way to make sure that
playing
you
it on
get
the
people
stream?
to vote. Instead of asking, are you going to vote? Ask people, what's your voting plan? And so if between now and November 3rd, which is right around
Everyone's
the corner,
leaving.
if in the next 10, 12 days, you can just make a habit of asking as many people as you can, what's your plan to vote? Or what's your voting plan? It really helps people figure that out on themselves. And then they ask themselves, well, what is my voting plan? Am I voting early? Am I voting day of? So make sure you're asking people, what's your voting plan? If you need help figuring out your voting plan, go to IWillVote.com. You'll figure out your polling location, what early voting mail-in, everything is for your specific polling location. If you're in New York, vote Biden-Harris on the Working Families Party line. If you're anywhere else, vote Biden-Harris. And but again, in New York, if you vote on the Working Families Party line where you can, you really help support the WFP in endorsing and supporting progressive candidates, which helps make the Democratic Party better. And so, you can send that message. Yeah, we want Trump out of office. But you know what? Democrats need to step it up too, and we need to make sure that we're fighting for a living wage, healthcare is a human right, robust climate action in the form of a Green New Deal. Vote and support WFP, and we can vote and support and make sure that those kind of candidates get elected to office. Aside from that, again, thank you all so much. I'm so thrilled. Watching you all in chat was so amazing. The positivity was really great. So I'm hoping I can do this again soon. But this was a total blast. Thank you all so much. Have an awesome night. Make your plan to vote. And let's go take back our democracy. Bye.
No, she didn't say it.
Now I have to figure out how to shut this off. Bye, everyone.
Say poggers.
Oh.
Weak.
Well,
kind of cringe.
Yeah, I mean the gamer outreach aspect of it, I mean, I don't think is cringe. I think maybe some people are gonna have issues because she is pushing Harris and Biden pretty heavily there. I mean, she's pushing Working Families Party. Is like the main crux of her thing.
What?
She was really pushing into the whole Working Families Party part of it. So.
What's wrong with that?
No. But I that's why I said like that's her angle about it. It's not just simple vote blue no matter who, which is at least some kind of differentiation way to differentiate herself. I mean, I know that she's can't be exactly happy with the situation as it is, but it's I kind of liken it to what you were talking about when you were on Cash's stream, right? Where we have our own little platform here where we get to talk and we get to interact and we have each other to riff off of. But then you're on that stream and you're all of a sudden you have more eyes on you, so you have a different platform. So you imagine being her, and then all of a sudden you oust the number 4 Democrat, and you have a target on your back from not just right wingers. You have it from people within your own party. You have targets on your back from people on the left to see how you react, to see what you do, to wait for you to sell out. And in that respect, you have to be very careful about what you do with your platform. I mean, it's what it comes down to. You imagine being her and having to go and answer for everything that you do in that way, and having, basically the future of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party all on your fucking shoulders.
I mean, I don't think she thinks about it like that, right? Do you?
You have that has to pop in your head at some point or another. But like everybody telling you you're the future, a lot of people telling you you're the future. That pressure on you from the very beginning. I mean, you have to block it out.
I just think she thinks about doing her job, though. She thinks about like all the people that all of her followers and all, but I don't think she thinks about it like I'm the future of the Democratic Party.
Not in that way. I think she thinks about what the expectations are for her.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Not like, oh my God, I'm the future. I'm the top of them. Nah, not in that way. I think more about it like, oh shit, a lot of fucking people are wanting a lot from me. They're depending on me to not fuck up and to represent this movement and to carry. I mean, I have to step into Bernie Sanders' shoes.
Yeah.
That would weigh up on my mind if I was in that position. That's what I would be thinking about. But yes, that was the big event of the night. The AOC breaking into Twitch with Ilhan Omar and having like this mini takeover. And I mean, I think it was a pretty successful method of voter outreach. But we will press on, and we have a lot of stories to get to other than AOC tonight. So, which one did you want to go into first, Matt?
I don't know. Let's see. What was on our list again? We have AOC.
Well,
Chris Pratt we can talk about for a minute. That's like just like dumb lib shit. I mean,
Chris Pratt is trending again. I guess he did something to trigger the libs out. Chris Pratt canceled is making the rounds.
Fucking Michael Tracy is ridiculous.
Yeah, man. I saw Mark Ruffalo came to his defense a little bit about him kind of being more non-political than anything else.
What did he say?
Well, he was. Let me see where I get this thing. Yeah, look at this. Chris Pratt got canceled. Anyway, stand these amazing queens instead. Seeing there's just tweets. I'm just going through the trending right now.
Michael Tracy, dude. Michael Tracy. I'd rather get waterboarded than watch AOC play video games for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I responded to that.
It's not all about AOC.
Yeah, I responded
Adults
to that.
Who spend
I mean,
hours
that's just
hours
haterade.
Watching other adults play video games are blights upon the human condition.
Oh Jesus!
Like
that's just
blights
haterade
upon the human condition.
Yeah, I think that's just a bunch of haterade getting thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like here's the tweet from Mark Ruffalo in regards to Chris Pratt. Pratt is a solid man, is as solid a man as there is. I know him personally, and instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He is not overtly political as a rule. This is a distraction. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, friends. We are so close now. Yeah, so But yeah, okay. So
Cool, man.
we were talking about Michael Tracy, right? So I mean, we did. I put a response there. This one's mine. Just to, there we go. To that tweet. I mean, I don't think there's a reason to throw. I mean, I really don't think there's any reason to go and hate with this shit. You know, I mean, they're having fun on gamers. You're getting to interact with voters, right? These are people that are young. You want into the political process, so and whatever
It's like
works.
people like that who shit on someone like that. It's like, what the fuck does he like? What is his contribution?
Yeah, so
You know, like I don't understand why a piece of shit like that dude would have any room to call anybody a blight upon the human condition.
Right. So there was our response
get the
from
fuck out of here, bro.
There was our show response. Trash. Yeah, but I mean, you want voter outreach. You want something that works, something that gets people interested. You know, I mean, I don't see a problem with anything that gets people to do that and get more people interested in the political process. So as long as it works, then I mean, by all means, go ahead. Have gamer nights. You know, for all
like,
for all we can say, it's the modern fireside chat.
I mean, sure, why not?
You know,
but like
that's
I just
what
think.
it was.
Well, like for me, it's like I don't care. Like I am not going to like encourage people to vote for Joe Biden, right? But I'm also not going to like encourage them to vote for Howie Hawkins or any of that shit. Like,
yeah,
vote for who you want. Like, it really doesn't matter.
I mean, for that, I can look. I would tell her if I was on the thing. I would probably tell her, what do you say to people like me that are more inclined to vote third party because they feel they're not represented by the Democratic Party? I would say something like that. Because you're out here doing voter.
I think that there's no like nobody knows. Like that's why I was pissed off about Vosh, right? Because it's like nobody knows that that's the best choice. Like it could be, like the accelerationists could be right. You know, like I'm not saying I think they are, but like there could be some truth to it. It's just like I wouldn't be so confident in it that I would tell somebody you should do this. It's going to be what's best for humanity. You know.
Right. No, and I mean that's the only thing I would probably think to ask her. Be like, what do you say to third party voters? What? And I would see if I could play her that Lawrence O'Donnell clip about when the party doesn't have to listen to the left because it shows that there's nowhere to go. I would see.
But like I said, though, you can't. That's a bullshit one, though. Like I don't buy the, that argument, right? About like, trying to punish them or trying to like, you can't do it by yourself. Like you can only threaten to withhold your vote as a base, like as a block of voters, right? So
yeah,
like,
and until people
that Lawrence O'Donnell argument doesn't really apply.
I think it does if that's the principle you're gonna try and get. Sorry, if you're gonna get people to rally around a principle, I think that's what you have to do. You know, as far as like non-voter, you can't look like you're just bugging out.
Like I'm saying though, it can't be like Chomsky said. It's like you'll be part of the 50% of people who don't vote, right? Like they don't differentiate like that. Like you either have to be like, yo, DSA is not going to vote for the Democrats, or I think it has Sunrise to be movement.
Absolutely, it has to be something that's more of an organized movement than it is just a bunch of more non-voters. But I think isn't that one of the points that's one of the points that I think Bree made on that to Chomsky, which I think she was right in that exchange. So
I'm saying, it's totally principled. If there had been an organization, like if Bernie had done it when he dropped out, it said, okay, we'll drop out if you do this, or if there had been, like some grassroots groups or whatever, significant amount of people who were saying we're not doing it for X, Y, and Z reasons, not just random, like
people that are right. I mean, just upset
anime avy people on Twitter.
Well, no, and the other part of it is man, sorry, my throat today. The other part of it is like you look at groups like Justice Democrats that are supposed to represent a new wave of Democrats, right? And they are making Biden ads now. You know, so if you have groups, Our Revolution, Justice Democrats, DSA, prominent figures like AOC, like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, on any of these, Bernie himself, and saying we're going to hold out. You know, I'm taking my base with me, my 30% of voters. I'm going to go ahead and tell them that we're not going to go and fall in line until we get concessions. You know, that's practical, and I think it's principled.
Yeah. Yeah. But doing that, withholding your vote individually is just cope. You know, that's not, you're not doing anything. You're not sending any message to the Democrats by voting.
The only way it does is if enough people do that together to significantly lower turnout. So if 30%,
it has to be like an announced, organized effort. It can't just be like disaffected voters.
Right. I mean, it gets more eyes on it. You know, it makes it more of a thing in that way than if people are just holding out on their own. Because I mean, you have to get enough people to depress turnout.
I don't think it has any effect unless it's an organized effort. I don't think. Yeah. Like I said, you just meld into the background noise if it's not a principled effort, if it's not announced and discussed beforehand. You have to make it clear that, like, my group, you know, my precinct or whatever block of organized voters that you have is withholding for these reasons. You know, we're not voting for X, Y, and Z reason. Like, you have to make it in negotiation. You know, like, they probably won't respond, but like, you have to make it like that. I think otherwise it's just, you know, a waste of time.
All right. Well, let's see if we can go on to the next story. This one, my sister ended up passing this one to me, so I wanted to go ahead and credit her. But it's always fun to go see Karens go off the rail a little bit. So this one is from San Diego. But what she said, I think, was particularly egregious. So let's go ahead and just play the video. So today's Karen from San Diego said, "Fuck Black Lives Matter," simply because she was told to wear her mask. And this gives a barista a raise for the way she handled the situation. So I'm going to say this, but I mean, she was asked to wear a mask. There was nothing about Trump thrown into it, but that's what she made it about.
Yeah, they're psycho, man. That type of Trump voter who's like thinks they're always the victim, always being persecuted. Disgusting.
And I need sugar too, please. For the washer, like 3 packets, please. No, like, it's not a law. It's not a law. And I can show you the penal code and everything. It's a hoax. I don't have to wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. This is America, and I don't have to do what you say. If you're Trump 2020. You need to leave. Thank you. No, fuck you. Thank you.
Like, she just looks so trashy. Like,
fuck Black Lives Matter. It's okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, these chuds all look like that. Like, that's how they look.
And they have such a victim complex too. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, that's just sick behavior, bro. Like nothing else. But it's fucking disgusting as shit to go and see people actually act that way in real life. You know, but
I mean, it's
and then just to top it all off, she has to walk back and say "fuck Black Lives Matter." Like, fuck you, get out of here, lady. Yeah. You know, and I mean that takes me really. I know you hate my segues, but still, I want to go to what's going on in my own sound? City. You have I don't hear anything. You got something?
What?
What?
There's some shit. Oh, okay.
All right.
Never mind. That was on my end.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the attitude that you see across the country. It's not unique to one area. Every city has a bunch of people like that. And by and large, I mean, masks are about a 90-10 issue. But that 10% is really fucking it up for the rest of us. And I haven't really got a chance to talk about the COVID situation in my city all too much. But, you know, getting a little bit of updates from my girlfriend because she works in the Department of Health, and she handles a lot of the COVID cases. And my mom is a nurse in the county hospital here, and the spikes have really freaked her out because they've gone through the roof in the last few days. They're out. They brought in the FEMA nurses. They're short staffed and they're low on beds in the COVID unit. And so here we go. The virus hospitalization rates are soaring. Texas has been one of the worst states now, and it's because of what we see. It's just self-destructive behavior at this point when you see numbers like this. It's 4,588 COVID patients in Texas hospitals, right? And is it the thing of it? There was 565 here from El Paso. Today they added another 666 patients. 666 go figure.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the infections, this is the big number that I wanted to point out here. That the county infections have gone up nearly 500% over the past 2 weeks. And 65 fatalities on Tuesday brought Texas pandemic death to 17,000. Yeah, and of those people that died, of the 17,000, we've lost 560 people, or 575 people roundabout, I think is the last number that I saw. And when you talk to people when they're sick, a lot of the times you're going to run into people that don't take it serious still, even when they've had people and they know people that have gotten sick and even died. Or they're going to say some shit about, I have my rights and my freedoms and all that kind of that chud bullshit. And it always comes back to Trump.
They just don't.
It always comes back to Trump too. It's like the freakiest thing.
It's so dumb. Yeah, it's so dumb. Like, what do you like? God, like at the Starbucks too. It's like, you're in there for a few minutes, lady. Like places like that. It's like, I could see if you like had to wear it like all day at work or something, you might be like annoyed by it, right?
Yeah.
But like, wearing it for a few minutes at a time, just running into the store, like you really need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I don't know what to do, man. Nothing's gonna work with them.
Yeah, like, nothing is. People like
Trump,
this have actually been sick. They've lost people too, and they still come back like that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And Trump's just gonna embolden them.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Trump was fine, bro.
I absolutely think so, and I didn't want to tweet this out from the show account, but I mean I did want to get this off my fucking chest because it was just so annoying today going through stuff for my city. So after the shooting here, there was a whole thing about El Paso Strong, and the community rallying together against this attack, and showing strength and all that other kind of stuff or whatever else. But I mean, now when you get people getting calls in about they need to do this, they need to wear masks, they know all the ordinances, they throw fucking tantrums about the mask, and they act like fucking dumbasses. But then
that's not El Paso Strong.
That it really is not what that should be meaning. And when you think about how many people died in that shooting, and then you just go and extrapolate that out to how many people died in the pandemic already. I mean, that a lot of that, I'm not saying, by no means am I saying that nobody would have died if everybody would have been wearing a mask. But I know for damn sure it wouldn't be over 500. So.
It's definitely adding to the misery, but.
But up until and then with the season that we're going into with flu and everything else, I mean, I'm expecting the numbers to keep spiking based on what I'm being.
Well, like it's
what I've heard.
Like the main problem, like we've been saying all along, it's capitalism.
Yeah.
Like people, you don't have health insurance, and even if you do have good health insurance, it's still like you're gonna avoid going into the hospital because you don't want to spend the money if you don't have to, right? So it's going to and like most people don't have insurance, right? Like most people are underinsured anyway, right?
Yep.
Or have insurance at all, and then they can't afford. There's no sick leave, right?
Yep.
So you know most people don't have sick leave, so you can't take off work if you feel shitty. So you're gonna avoid taking off unless you absolutely have to. And then just the whole testing has been non-existent. Like every single category we've done poorly in. It's like there's not one coronavirus response area that we've done well. I guess the ventilators. It sounds like Trump made a lot of ventilators.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But looks like we have a visitor in, Mr. Simon Belmont. What up, guys? Yo, what's up, Simon? You want to chime in with any of your takes? You know, we do have a small stream, so everybody gets read. That's a good thing. You have thoughts, we're gonna read them out.
Amen.
But you know, let's go on to the other story that we had listed up, the GOP Stimulus Non-Stimulus. As we know that Trump had a proposal on the table that Nancy Pelosi immediately shot down for what I think was bullshit political reasons. The GOP has come up with their own plan that's apart from the Trump plan that, well, it doesn't include another round of stimulus checks. The stimulus non-stimulus. I thought that was a pretty clever way to wrap things together. But let's go hear from the turtle, and he will explain the fucked up situation.
Will skinny bill contain another round of stimulus checks for all Americans?
No, it doesn't. But it does address an awful lot of things that we do agree on. And I don't think the fact that those checks are not a part of this package, as others have said, is a good argument for not doing what we are laying on the floor, most of which is completely without controversy.
Well, okay, turtle. He just
fucking, what kind of a psycho is that, man? Like, god damn, what? Why would anybody fucking care about your bill if there's no money in it for
It's
anybody,
supposed to be a stimulus bill. You're supposed to be getting us fucking money, bro. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, they don't care, man.
They obviously don't care. You know, but we do have you know, a little bit of idea of how the American people must be feeling right now, and I think that pretty much sums it up.
What? I wasn't looking.
There you go.
Oh.
You can see it.
Yeah. You can't afford to take off from work. Like, you're forced to reopen before, you know, it's actually safe. Like, that's what we did in Chicago, right? And then, like, it looked like Pritzker was calling out Lori Lightfoot today. He mentioned, you know, he was, like, retweeting stuff about opening bars and restaurants is definitely what caused the spike.
No, absolutely.
See if we can... And I'm sure that's happening everywhere because we had a spike this week too, and it's exactly why.
It is not a good look right now. Now let's go to this next part. I wanted to go to Ryan Knight's tweet. Mr. Proud Socialist, as he put here. Here we go. The moment leftists warned about. Joe Biden is eyeing GOP candidates for cabinet slots, and why wouldn't he? There has been no pushback or accountability of Democrats because the only thing liberals are capable of screaming is Trump is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just that just seems like par for the course now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
what can they do?
What do you see the future of the party in at this point? If you're gonna end up having Republicans filling key cabinet positions, you know, and I wonder about that careful language.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
You don't think that there's gonna be any Republicans in from never Trumpers and that kind of shit?
No, I just think that's like some shit they leak to the press to make right wingers think that they're nice guys. I mean, didn't Obama do the same thing?
Yeah, there was Republicans in the middle of all that. Look at these are the names being floated around: John Kasich, Jeff Flake, Charlie Dent.
But they're like predictable choice. Like they sound like the names you'd make up if you were gonna like make up this story and leak it to Politico. Like,
well, this was a good quote here. I don't understand why someone who says I am the Democratic Party would hand the benefits to someone who's not a Democrat. That's Jeff Hauser,
that's why they won't.
director of the Revolving Door Project. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it goes ahead that way. You know, it's a part of some kind of return to normalcy thing that makes sense. It's just right in what a move Biden would do. You know, so if that's the case, I mean, I'm not really all that surprised. You know, and yeah, I had this tweet from Irma Viglin I wanted to go to also. Check this out. I thought that pretty much summed it up because let's face it, there you go. Bernie isn't a real Democrat. He puts a real Democrat puts Republicans in their cabinet. And yeah. I mean, let's be real. We wouldn't have seen anything about Republicans being in a Bernie cabinet.
I mean, yeah. Well, like, you know, Bernie has worked with Republicans, right? But it's on good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, anti-war stuff. I mean, all that stuff
Kamala
makes sense.
Well, that's why Kamala has that most progressive record. Right?
Yeah.
Like, her record is more progressive, like, based on the calculations, but it's calculated by who's voted on party lines the most.
That's
so
what it is, right? Because I always wondered about that.
Yeah.
How come Kamala has such a progressive record in comparison?
That's some shit that, like, her people ginned up, you know, in the primary to make her look, like, cool and progressive. And now it's biting him on the ass because Trump campaign can say, like, look, she's
a
more
radical
liberal than Bernie Sanders. She's more liberal than Bernie Sanders. He says that in all of his speeches. He says, Kamala, she's not even a socialist. She's worse than a socialist. She's a communist.
Oh, God.
Like, literally what he says. Like, that's his line about her. He calls her a communist. And he, like, differentiates. He's like, she's worse than a socialist. She's a communist.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why. Because he has that study or whatever, those fake numbers that are people made. But, like, you know, Bernie will work on principled stuff with right wingers, but I don't know, man. It would have been crazy to see what kind of cabinet he would have had, right? Because it wouldn't have been DC insiders.
Do you think they would have
picked some?
I mean, do you think they would have picked anybody from the squad, or would have been better off putting them in the house or leaving them there?
No, I mean, I don't know. He probably would have picked older left people, you know, like,
I think Ro Khanna for sure.
Yeah, maybe Ro Khanna, he'd be a good pick. But, like, he could probably pick a lot of academics and stuff. Like, he would have had a weird cabinet because it wouldn't have been
a bunch
anybody else is just gonna
careerists.
Would have drained the swamp. Like, he would have actually drained the swamp.
Yes.
Know? Like, and put in a bunch of, like, you know, old hippies and shit, I bet.
I mean,
just like staffed everywhere.
You don't think he would have put any kind of? I mean, what about like a financial advisor, somebody who works in the finance industry?
I mean, like Warren Guttles would have had doing the money stuff, I think.
Yeah, you don't think? I mean, anybody with banking experience is part of like the whole, you know, part of that industry.
They're all crooks. Why?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think AOC agrees with
you.
you.
They're all criminals. They belong in jail. They don't belong in the cabinet. Like, our presidents are terrible people, so they appoint people who belong in jail, who be in jail in an irrational country. Like, just terrible people, and that's who runs the country. The worst people in the country run the country.
So, are we sure about that? All right, no banker people, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's
I'm just doing that for the sound effect, bro.
Some guys. I just think the entire business model these days is just so, you know. Like,
well, let's
rise to the top.
I know this is let's go to this story, Matt. I know this is one that you wanted to talk about too. PragerU. Here we go. Ohio school has been assigning kids PragerU videos for class. The site has videos like "The Left Ruins Everything" and "Playing the Black Card." Turns out PragerU is amid a new push to get into K through 12 schools, saying so many teachers have signed up.
can't believe they're doing that. It's like disinformation videos.
That is so nuts. You know,
we need school choice, ladies and gentlemen. We need school choice.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this one. This was the one that got me with PragerU. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. Watch. Would Jews rather be insulted or gassed?
Why does it have to be one or the other, bro? Like,
I mean,
what is he trying to make?
It doesn't get much more brazen than PragerU. I mean, what would you do if you found out your kids were being taught PragerU material in class?
I mean, I wouldn't let that happen. Like, I wouldn't, let her get an F or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could watch it. Like, I mean, I'd watch it with her maybe and just explain to her why it's bullshit. And I'll.
Well, okay, so let's.
I can't see it being like a mandatory. Right. Like, you think it's like part of the curriculum? I thought it was like extra credit.
Let's look into the article a little bit. So, in Ohio, public school has been giving students extra credit, like you said, for watching videos from PragerU, a right-wing website that produces clips of talking heads such as Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, those.
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens. Yeah, that rotten bitch.
How is that?
Sorry.
It's like, that's what I'm saying. The worst people in the country run the country.
Yeah, so
the type of person who would pay them.
Look at the titles of some of these videos. Build the Wall, Why the Right Was Right, and Why the Left Ruins Everything were assigned a 10th grade history class in high school, along with a series of questions for the most important messages. Man, give this to my niece. I will go off on a bitch. I will go off on a motherfucker about this.
Conservatives are the real environmentalists.
They don't believe in climate change. The Ferguson lie? The Ferguson lie. Oh, really? Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. This is pretty bad. This is pretty gut-wrenching to think that our students are actually being pointed into these directions. Because, look, at the end of the day, everybody's going to do the extra credit. I mean, I remember what it's been like in high school. You always did the extra credit. But, you always need points. There's a difference between one grade or another.
I mean,
there's no gender. Yeah, there's no. Look at this. There's no gender wage gap. How to steal an election with mail-in ballots? Is Islam a religion of peace?
This is insane. They have a whole venture for it. Wow. This should be against the law. I mean,
it's indoctrination.
I wonder if they're. Yeah, I wonder if them. How they've been yelling about, Joe Biden's going to come for your family. He's going to arrest your mom. They've all been kind of saying that, Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool and all those psychos. I wonder if, they're trying to set it up so that, when any rational regulatory body looks at these videos and yanks them, PragerU is going to be like, see, I told you they're going to do cultural genocide or something.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Where it says, Lewis was immediately alarmed when she started her extra credit assignment last week. The assignment asked her to watch PragerU videos and then answer questions about how the videos challenge her beliefs. She had hoped to use the assignment to tack on a few extra points to her grade after taking a test on which she suspected she did poorly. But after seeing the videos, the teen didn't think she could complete the homework. It says, Lewis's mother was similarly shocked when her daughter showed her the assignment. She immediately fired off an email to the school's principal asking who approved the assignment and whether or not students have been given any context for the PragerU's point of view. It's alt-right propaganda, Cutway said in an email to the school's principal, which she provided the Huffington Post. If you Google PragerU and spend a few minutes scrolling, you will see that this site is controversial at best. Yeah, I mean... the concern was less for her daughter. She seems as politically savvy enough to recognize the site's videos. There you go. Base daughter. I would imagine Matt's daughter would probably respond in the same way, being politically savvy enough if she was at this age at this point.
She's 6.
Right? Yeah, I'm saying at this point, if she was in 10th grade, I figure by then she would have been along these lines. But Cutway's concern was less for her daughter, who she sees as politically savvy enough. And let's see, what else did I put? All right. Lewis met with school's administrators soon enough to discuss the issue. Together, they came up with a solution, and the student could also include viewpoints from the opposite side. So they weren't even allowing them. That was like the big thing here.
So it
Like,
wasn't even like
to
I mean,
put
I
in
could see if it
contrarian
was like
views. That wasn't even something that was allowed.
yeah, I mean if it was like a handful of sources.
That is some shit. Yeah, man, that's some sick shit, especially at that point to go in and start indoctrinating. All right, we got another what's up here from there's my lovely sister. What up, guys? What's going on, B? Actually, we do have one more story that she passed on. We'll go to that after. But yeah, I think as parents in that situation, like if I was if I found out about my niece getting pointed towards those directions, I would probably be very upset. I wouldn't have as much control because her parents are freaking chuds. So, but I would try to go and do my best to educate her as to what she was looking at. You know, I try to do that now.
That's like some,
you know, but
like some, you know, late Soviet Empire shit, dude. Like
it really is. You know, I don't think
shit in public schools.
Yeah, man, I don't think you can overstate how fucked up that is. But let's see, you had one more story.
There's no objective truth anymore. That's the problem. There's no, like, you know, facts. It's all like political reporting. Everything is. So there's nothing you can like. Even if you debunked it from like a million different sources, it would be like, oh, well, that's just liberal propaganda. You know, like. Yeah.
Well, let's go to this story, Matt. I wanted to get your take on it. My sister passed this one to me too. So, a rapper who bragged about getting rich from an unemployment scam. He was arrested for fraud.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, a rapper who made a music video to brag about him getting rich from coronavirus unemployment benefits was arrested for fraudulently applying for more than $1.2 million in aid. The Justice Department announced on Friday. On Funtrell Antonio Baines, who uses the stage name Nuke Bizzle. Oh, come on. Lame ass name too.
Oh, that's a sweet name.
Was arrested in connection. Was arrested in connection with an alleged scheme to fraudulently obtain unemployment insurance benefits under Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act. The 31-year-old who currently lives in California had allegedly applied for more than $1.2 million in jobless benefits, according to prosecutors. Baines possessed and used 92 debit cards issued by California's Employment Development Department in the names of third parties, including victims of identity theft. The rapper and his co-schemers allegedly succeeded more than 704,000 of those benefits through cash withdrawals, including Las Vegas, as well as the purchase of merchandise and services. Baines bragged about his ability to defraud the EDD in the music video featuring Fat Wizza posted on September 11th. In the video, he boasts about doing my swagger for EDD. He holds up envelopes from the agency as he said he's getting rich by going to the bank with a stack of these. You gotta sell cocaine, I gotta file a claim. A second rapper says Baines was arrested in Las Vegas and was in possession of 8 debit cards, 7 of which were in the names of other people. He faces 3 felony offenses, including access device fraud, aggravated identity theft, interstate transportation of stolen property. If convicted of all these charges, he can face a statutory maximum sentence of 22 years in prison. Yeah, I got a comment here from Lucy. He said, "You guys sell cocaine, I file a claim." Yeah, that's the line from the music video. I mean,
I know this sucks. I feel like they aggressively prosecute stuff like this because it's like that's like the right wing fever dream.
Yeah,
you know?
It really does play into that when you're talking about people taking advantage of benefits and all that kind of stuff.
Blacks are. Yeah, blacks are stealing the unemployment
right.
claims.
I mean,
they're rigging the system.
They're just takers.
Like the welfare
and
queens.
This is what everybody's doing.
It's like the welfare queen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's that
so
times 10 multiplied by coronavirus is what it is. Because I mean, this whole the whole fight right now in the government is trying to get these stimulus bills out to the people, trying to get checks out to the people who need them, and then you have this dude out there blowing $1.2 million in fucking Vegas.
I mean, but you know, I don't feel that way. Like I'd rather this guy get the money than billionaires.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I mean that's true. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, who's been doing more of the looting? But still, well, let's see.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a finite amount of money they're going to divvy up, right?
All right, so here we go. Come on, who got you that story? I did shout you. I did shout you out. I think Matt can attest to that.
Yeah, he gave you props. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He definitely did.
I mean, look, I still think it's an issue. I still, I think that people going and doing this kind of thing, I mean, they're wrong for it too. I think that there's a lot of people that do need money right now, and at this point, he wasn't doing stuff to scrape by. He's doing that to, go and flaunt his shit, and then on top of that, he's dumb enough to go and make a music video about it.
That sucks, though. Do you think that there was like feds listening to his tracks?
I mean, at some point or another, like if you're gonna be going to the bank with a bunch of debit cards, someone's gonna be like, "Huh," and they're gonna, and it's gonna be easy to look into him a little bit and then see that he's just so fucking brazen about it.
So he like claimed he had a business. Is that what he did? And those were his employees.
I don't know if it was for the employees. Didn't say that. But it was a thing where he was taking people's identities, random people, and then just going and making unemployment filing claims for each of them.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like the coronavirus plan.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting money out of that because part of it was from the coronavirus plan.
Listen, homie, you sell cocaine, I file claims.
Let's see. Listen, he had a hustle. Yes, he had a hustle, and now he's facing up to 22 years in a federal prison.
Yeah.
Which
sucks, man. He should.
I mean, what do you think is the remedy for that, Matt, in your system?
I mean, I would.
Right. Yeah, he filed for
first of all, I'd give him the money.
So you take back the money from him.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd make him work off his debt.
Right.
I don't know, like whatever that entails. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably just like give him a stern warning.
A stern warning?
Like, don't do it again.
I mean, he did steal people's identities and then make up like $1 million on it.
Yeah, but that's just taken from the credit card companies, though. I'm trying to find like. I have no problem. Like they're doing class war on us, man. Like if we hit back once in a while, I'm okay with that. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who he's kind of. I mean, that comes from the taxpayer because it's part of the unemployment thing. So I mean, on the grand scheme of things, of course, the oligarchs are doing far worse to the taxpayer. So yeah. I still don't think it's right. I think he's wrong for what that is. In the way he's doing it, particular about just trying to. It's not like it's what I said. He's not just out here trying to get by. He's out here trying to get rich.
So you would have been okay if it was like, $10,000 a month or something.
Like if he did like $10,000 and he was like 50 in debt and he was just trying to get himself back on his feet, I would have a lot more sympathy for it.
I mean, what if, wasn't it just like him taking like UBI, Like,
that's why. But I mean, if people that are going to benefit most from a UBI are people that need it.
So, I would like Thanos. Like, I'm trying to think who's like Thanos here. Like, if anybody can get theirs, I want them to take it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they leave money on the table, grab it because they would definitely do the same to you. Like they have done the same to you. And, they would do it to a lot of other people, too, if they could. Like, you could probably make an argument, too, that, like, keeping $1 million out of some oligarch's hands is going to save X number of lives in the future just because of, like, what they do with their money. Like,
yeah, I mean, what did this dude do? He went and blew it on a bunch of oligarchs in Vegas.
Yeah. He spent it.
He spent it on a bunch of oligarchs, and then they go out there and help people. He went ahead and spent it on a bunch of motherfucking businesses that didn't even need it. So, But all right, let's go
fucked
to.
up that they won't give us the stimulus too, because
Right, and they're gonna
people will
use
fucking
stuff
spend
like
the money
that.
and
They're
give it
gonna
to
use
them.
stuff like that to say that people don't deserve it. But all right, so here we go. Let's go to this next couple of stories. Twitter has reversed its decision regarding the Hunter Biden story of a few days ago, in which they completely blacklisted it, prevented you from DMing it, prevented you from posting about it unless you figured out loopholes. And they decided they were wrong, and they came down too hard on their censorship.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the last we're gonna end up seeing of censorship in this way. The problem that they said was that they didn't tell anybody about why they were doing it or explain the basis of it, which I think is still complete
it wasn't
bullshit.
really a mea culpa.
No.
You know?
It was more like, I'm sorry if you think you deserve an apology. We'll do better at blocking out this information. And then afterwards, there was this video that made the rounds from Don Jr. that was kind of in that same vein, which was funny. Wanted to go ahead and play that for everybody here. But here's Don Jr. doing his best Hunter Biden.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Just watching my algorithms get crushed. I guess I did something to piss off the Instagram gods, so hopefully you're seeing this stuff anyway. We'll do what we can. Talk to you soon.
The algorithm's killing me.
The algorithm. Oh god, he sounds like a young version of his dad too, doesn't? Ugh.
Trump's tax records show previously unknown bank account in China.
Yeah. Another one. Bookmark that. Let's pull that up really fast for the tax returns.
Did the Breonna Taylor juror say anything good?
The only thing that I saw from the Breonna Taylor juror was about how they were prevented from going after the cops for murder. But I do have another.
What?
Yeah, that was it. From the juror, they were instructed that they cannot pursue murder charges against the cops.
Oh.
Yeah, but I have this story. If you're looking for a cop story, here we go. Indiana officer fired after ties to neo-Nazi internet forum are revealed. A police recruit in Lafayette, Indiana, was fired after anti-fascists flagged his apparent ties to neo-Nazi internet forums, authorities said Saturday. The recruit, Joseph Zacharik, is believed to have participated in a forum called Iron March 4 years ago. The department was alerted to Zacharik's post on Friday when the self-described anti-fascist tagged its Twitter account with a link to the message from the forum or posted on a site called Iron March Exposed. The department opened up an investigation and determined that the messages were accurate and credible, the statement said. I mean, how shocked are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that there was a neo-Nazi on the police department, bro?
Not at all shocked. There's millions of them.
Yeah, and they
all
do
this for tons. I'm sure you can do this at any police department.
Yeah, and they all become cops, and they all abuse their authority, and they all claim that they're not racist.
No.
And then they go and kill unarmed black folk, and then act like victims.
Yeah, I'd say at minimum they all post on
I would love to see they're probably like half the chuds on here that are anonymous and like aren't bots are probably cops. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Yeah. And like all the QAnon freaks too.
Yeah, of course. I bet they're like, at this point, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go and say that, just call all of the chuds officers. Officer Chud. on your beat. There you go. Here's another comment here. Shocking. Police racist. Yep. There you go. There was only one good cop, and he's lost to us.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Let's see. Hold on.
Is it Dorn or Dorner? I always get them confused. Which one was based and which one was dead cop?
Here he is, the one good cop out there, Mr. Chris Dorner, R.I.P. The legend.
Yeah.
Yep. He said he was going to wage an asymmetrical war, and he did. And then they Swiss cheesed him for the trouble. Yeah.
Hello, Cool J. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. I had another story here. This is around social media topics. Here we go. Mark Zuckerberg signed off on an algorithm change that throttled traffic to progressive news sites, and one site says that the quiet change cost them about $400,000 to $600,000 in order to do this.
What site is that?
It's from Business Insider.
I mean, what's the site that lost the money?
I guess they did from spending to go ahead and change the algorithm.
What?
So, yeah,
Here we go. Like...
Oh, no. It says one site says, okay, the quiet change cost them. Oh, yeah. Now I got it. All right.
What's that one site?
Let's see which one it is. We're going in the article together, bro. So Zuckerberg signed off on the change to the algorithm. I mean, as we know, people that do what we do at a larger scale, like Kyle's of the world, Humanist Report, Rash Nash. I mean, I think even Rising falls into that category. They are targets for social media algorithms. When you're talking about YouTube, Twitter, Facebook now, they are targets for these algorithms, and they want to black out those dissenting voices because they're considered fringe content in favor of more mainstream media narratives, even though they probably I'll just say, you know what? They tell a better story. They tell a more truthful depiction of the news and events than what you do get off of a 100%. Mainstream media channel. 100%.
Yeah.
And
not even close.
Yeah. So the move affected Mother Jones, a left-leaning news outlet known for its investigations. Mother Jones, editor-in-chief, said Friday that the move had cost the outlet $400,000 to $600,000 a year, and that Facebook had lied about changing it in the meetings in 2017. We did not make changes with the intent of impacting individual publishers. Which, yeah, it's complete bullshit. We know that YouTube did the same thing. The way that I can explain it is when I started looking at guys on the left, I started watching TYT. The recommendeds that I would pop up would be TYT Nation, Rash Nash, David Pakman, Kyle Kalinske after every video. If you go and start looking at any of those guys on their individual channels, you do not get referred to one of their counterparts. You get referred to Wolf Blitzer or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or one of these more authoritative news sites, and not to their peers. You know, and it makes an impact when you see the difference in channel subscriptions and the growth that they experienced from between in the 2016 cycle versus in the 2020 cycle. All of that is impacted. You know, and social media, the way the platforms are used, I mean, it's destructive. It's destructive to people that want to form a counter narrative that is legitimate.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution to that is other than nationalizing that shit, though. Because
yeah, I mean, that's
the
algorithms
are so oblique. Like, you can't tell. Like, they can lie to you. It's like, it's amazing that this story even got out. Like, how did know Mother Jones even figure that out? Like, they just lie and say, no, the algorithm doesn't do that. You know, and you can't prove otherwise because it's their proprietary shit. So
I mean, here it says that Mother Jones, the editorial director, wrote that Facebook representatives lied to them in the meetings in the change about the change in 2017, and they swore up and down that wasn't what was happening. Imagine that social media oligarchs were lying to these journalists, and yeah, apparently you go into outright denial. They did not make the change with intending to impact individual publishers, and that Facebook was killing real news. Mother Jones used its own data to show that Facebook referred traffic surpassed 20 million per page in 2017, but diminished to less than 5 million per page in the late 2017 and 2018. Look at that.
I mean, did you see the
from
Google
Facebook?
thing?
Look at that. That's insane. Look at that.
Wait a minute. What's that spike from?
That's when they peaked out. 20 million views from Facebook to their site.
Yeah.
And then after that, look at this. It was like an increase. Look at that. And then
I know, but I mean, it looks like they were not being helped, and then they were being helped for a little while, and then they stopped being helped, right? Like, I don't know if, like, you know, they were doing really good probably because they were being hyped a lot in that time period.
Well,
and then it went back to like their normal traffic.
If
right?
people like your content, then you're gonna get traffic there. That's the way that these algorithms should work. But that's not the way they work. They'll redirect you away from those kinds of sources if they don't like their views.
Well, like the Google antitrust suit too.
Yeah,
right?
let's go to that actually.
Positive sign.
So let's go to that.
Like,
so
that's not even the same kind of. That's not even the same type of suit, though. You know, that's more about like search results. I mean,
which is also impactful. No, it's also impactful.
Concept. So yeah, I mean.
So I mean, look from here. The Justice Department has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Google for allegedly abusing its power and dominance over smaller rivals. It is the most significant action the federal government has taken against a tech company in 2 decades.
Yeah.
So here we go. Abuses its monopoly power over search. Justice Department says in a lawsuit. So, did you read the complaint?
Yeah. It's filed by the Attorney General's office, and then 11 states, and they're like all red states. So it makes me wonder if it's actually going to be followed through. If it's not just like some anti-China kind of thing,
right?
Right, because that's one of their things. They say that like Google's communist or whatever.
Well, here they
it's
said
kind of vague. I mean, I don't know. I heard Ryan Graham podcast he did last week all about it. I listened to, and I mean, I couldn't really explain it to you. It's like just the way the search results are given back, like they're manipulating all of that, and then apparently they're like stealing content from other sites too, like from like Yelp and review sites, and just kind of trying to put everybody else out of business. So like, who knows how far into this they'll go, but I mean, it's definitely a positive sign no matter what. It's just get a bunch more of these going.
Yeah, I mean, any antitrust action I think is probably a pretty good move with the size of Google. I mean, it has to be, but and right here it says that
go after Facebook or Amazon first, but Google's fine too.
Let's see. Justice Department lawyers accuse Google of harnessing its internet gatekeeper role to enrich the company's vast business empire, stifling competitors and hurting consumers through exclusionary agreements, including deals such as the one it struck with Apple, making Google the default search engine on the Safari browser on iPhones.
Yeah, see, that's not as sexy of a complaint. Like, I want to hear about the manipulating search results and co-opting other sites' material for your site.
Well, I mean,
right?
let's be real about like the Google is the main search engine now. I mean, it's in the lexicon, the cultural lexicon. Anytime you want to look for anything, you Google it. It's a noun, it's a verb.
But what they're doing is they're taking other people's results. Like, they'll have other people's content, like Celebrity Net Worth was an example they used. They would just auto-populate. They would go onto those sites and steal all the material and put it on their own platforms. And they were just doing that for all these different like niche sites. Like Yelp was a big one. Like other like album reviews. Like all the Google reviews are all stuff that they've taken from other providers. So it's just like totally just obliterates the business like the strategy of these other companies, because Google just steals everything from them.
Well, this was the word from Google itself. People use Google because they choose to, not because they're forced to or because they can't find alternatives. This lawsuit would do nothing to help consumers. To the contrary, it would artificially prop up lower quality search alternatives, raise phone prices, and make it harder for people to get the search services they want to use. Which, okay,
I don't know, man. Stop stealing content.
Well, yeah, and I think that first part of it is right. I think people use Google because they choose to. I think
Google.
I think people
use DuckDuckGo.
Really?
Yeah, fuck Google. I mean, I use it for I have a Gmail account and stuff, so I don't know like how much I'm actually like subverting their evil plans, but they're terrible, man. Like I said, they just steal everybody else's shit and put it on their own page. Like they're destroying the internet between them and Facebook, just like knocking up the ad market. Like it's bad, man. Those are bad antitrust. Like those are bad monopolies. Like it's insane that we haven't done anything about it yet. It's just like they don't know how to, they don't know that there's no precedent for it, right? They don't really know how to regulate the internet. They have to do it for the first time, so they've been avoiding it.
Well, the way I look at it is by this point, everybody knows what they want from a search engine. So if people are more comfortable using Google, it's because that's what they want to do. I don't think it's anything Google does. But, I think that was
Google's the best.
Yeah.
No, it's the best, though. That's what I'm saying. It's the most user-friendly. They have the best results, and it's easiest to use because of stuff like I said, though, because they're stealing other people's stuff. So, like, I don't know. It's probably, like, a pointless resistance, no ethical consumption and all that. But
all right.
Let's go
to that story, the other one that you passed me here. More than 20 progressive groups are urging House Democrats to impeach Bill Barr next week, an impeachment that would have been dealt with on the Senate floor ahead of the ACB. So this is a letter.
Yeah, this would be sick.
See, Speaker Pelosi, we urge you and your colleagues to impeach Attorney General Bill Barr. General Barr has acted to subvert the laws that he, as our nation's chief federal law enforcement official, is duty-bound to uphold. In addition, his unlawful actions have unduly expanded the power of the executive branch at the expense of the legislative branch, thereby undermining the very foundation of our democracy and pushing our nation towards okay, help me with this. I'm not going to get it. Autocracy. There we go. Dozens of members of your caucus and various outside groups have for months urged an inquiry into Barr's impeachment on several grounds. They include misleading Congress for the Mueller investigation and other matters, overruling career prosecutors for political purposes, such as helping the president's allies. Yeah. So, I mean, it's I think he
he deserves it.
Yeah, you could pretty much make a case to go ahead and try to impeach him. I don't think that's completely crazy. I think that the timing of it might be helpful in regards to trying to, if they actually do want to stop Coney Barrett from getting appointed to the court, tying things up in that way. I don't think they do either. We just saw today, for everybody that is planning to go ahead and vote for Biden to preserve the sanctity of the Supreme Court, he already kind of he had some very nice things to say about Miss Coney Barrett.
What did he say? Did he just say she seems like a nice lady?
Yeah, she said something about that.
Like, that doesn't mean she belongs on the Supreme Court, though. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of thing that it's the same kind of thing that Dianne Feinstein said. Oh, I'm so impressed with your ability to say basic contract principles.
Yeah, she's.
So
why would Feinstein do that?
So not
Feinstein
opposed to.
Straight up wants to be a Republican.
Here we go. Joe Biden not opposed to Amy Coney Barrett. Says she seems like a very fine person on both sides. During Tuesday's presidential debate in Ohio, the candidate said Donald Trump's nominee was seemed like a very fine person. Many Democrats have criticized Barrett's nomination, believing the seat should be left vacant by vacant by RBG should be left open until after the election. Trump and the other Republicans have said that they have the right to nominate Judge Barrett. Biden said that he has no personal feelings against Judge Barrett. I have nothing. I'm not opposed to the justice. She seems like a very fine person. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really give you the reason to think there's going to be much.
Look on, though. He said not appropriate, right? He said placing a justice on the court is not appropriate.
Yeah, here we go. So Biden said that placing the new justice on the Supreme Court was just not appropriate. It's not appropriate. Not appropriate.
Yeah.
Have you no decency?
I mean, that's fine. What do you want him to say? Like, I'd want him to say she's a psycho.
Yeah, I would rather her. I would say something like that. Yeah, I would say something about like she's a threat to women's reproductive health.
Yeah.
You know, not, you know, I'm supposed to be opposing this person, and yeah, she seems like a decent.
I would make a case against her on just like procedural grounds for her dodging all the questions at the hearing.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
And I mean, even say that would be, I mean, that would be a decent answer, you know, just for point of fact. But
well, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, the fight back, I mean, we keep looking for pushback from these people, and I mean, we're just not gonna get it. You know, I mean, it's just not gonna happen. So
it's terrible, man. We live in a failed state.
Basically. Well, speaking of failed states, here's a polling update that I wanted to go ahead to. Here we go. National poll. This one was a little bit tighter. It's one poll.
Oh, was it?
Yep, there we go. Look at that. Biden ahead, 2 points.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Biden bros better pick up the phone.
Yeah, I mean they better not sleep on their laurels here, right? I mean, there's a 2-point poll 2 weeks out.
Is this a reputable poller?
I mean, it seems. I mean, it's one poll, but you know, just to go ahead.
National poll?
I mean, just to go ahead and look at this stuff. Let me see. There you go.
What if Trump wins?
I mean, I bet the libs are gonna blame the left. That's what will happen. But so here we go. Wanted to go ahead to this. So that was one poll, and now here in the general election, this is how the average is really playing out. So Biden is ahead an average of 8.5 points. From all of these national polls, Biden is ahead at minimum by 3 and at most by 12 from these. You know, and you can see that.
Except for the one that just came out, there was 2.
Yeah, that except for that one. Right. So they have Biden here by 3 in the New York Times. What is it? No,
which is the most recent one.
Siena poll. The latest ones, these are all 10-15 to 10-19. I guess the oh yeah, there we go. The IDP Siena poll. That's it. The TIPP poll. Yeah, they have them plus 3 on here. But you can see from
what do you think? If he loses, will you trust the results?
What, if Biden loses?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not vested in it, you know, like really, I wouldn't really care. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, look what happened with Bernie.
No, I know, but like, would you trust that if they said that?
Any kind of tampering?
Yeah. If like Trump was like, we won. Thank you. We did very well. Thank you, America. And
I would find it a little bit questionable. Would you?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, but you know, it's like you can't. Anything could happen. You know, like there's voter registrations, like you know, turnout, like the mail-in ballots. I mean, I guess like they're definitely going to try to cheat somewhat, right? So I guess it's just a question of like extent of their cheating.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll
have to cross that bridge when we get to it, bro. I mean, the most likely scenario, I'm telling you, the most likely scenario I see is Trump being ahead on election night, and then the mail-in ballots putting Biden ahead.
Yeah.
And if that happens,
I think it's going to happen too.
Yeah. So I want to close off the show today with a couple of feel-good stories. First of all, from the
feel-good stories.
Here we go from the Washington Times. Conservative talk radio legend Rush Limbaugh told listeners Monday that he can no longer deny he's under a death sentence due to the progression of his stage 4 lung cancer. And it really couldn't have happened to a more wonderful guy.
Cool.
No thoughts about this one, Matt? No edgy takes?
I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, he's dying. Like, I don't, you know? Like,
well, you were talking about,
like I said.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about Trump possibly dying from COVID. So that's why I thought this would be one to get a good take.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, Trump with COVID's a little different. Like, you know, like I don't need this guy to like suffer and die. Like, you know, like Trump dying of. I mean, I guess it's like you would say that like, you know, I want Trump to die because he's doing harm. You know, like he's actively causing more shit. Like this guy's like radicalizing chuds on the radio, but like I don't necessarily think he's like a threat to, you know, like peace and prosperity, right? Like he can keep hollering for.
I mean, his whole platform has set the country back. I think he's very influential, and I think he has done damage to the country. I think as long as his voice is out there, he continues to do damage to the country. And even after he dies, you know, he still has that legacy of what he's done and the people that he's radicalized and the outlandish, crazy, baseless shit that he said. He has dabbled in those far right conspiracies. So, you know, like I said,
every shitty take.
But so this is gonna be our last story for the night. It's another COVID story, but I thought this was pretty cool. Here we go. 14-year-old girl won a $25,000 prize for a discovery that could lead to a cure for the COVID-19 virus.
I'm dubious. Like, what is it?
So here we go. As scientists around the world race to find a treatment for coronavirus, a young girl among them stands out. Anika Cherborlu, I can't say it. A 14-year-old from Frisco, Texas, has just won the 2020 3M Young Scientist Challenge and a $25,000 prize from for a discovery that could provide a potential therapy for COVID-19.
How does
I think
some
they're
kid
gonna
at home with like basic setup figure out
well,
stuff?
let's see what she did here, Matt. So Anika won the 2020 Scientist Challenge. Her winning invention uses in silico methodology to discover a lead molecule that can selectively bind to the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. In the last 2 days, I saw that there was a lot of media hype about my project since it involves the COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 virus and reflects our collective hope to end this pandemic, as I, like everyone else, wish that we can go back to our normal lives soon. The coronavirus has killed more than 1.1 million people globally since China reported its first case to the World Health Organization in December. The United States has more than 219,000 deaths, according to the data from Johns Hopkins University. System Science and Engineering. Anika, who is Indian American, submitted her project while she was in 8th grade, but wasn't always going to be focused on finding a cure for COVID. Initially, her goal was to use in silico methods to identify a compound that could bind to a protein of the influenza virus. After spending much time, or I think it's lead compound, probably lead compound. After spending so much of the research about pandemics, viruses, and drug discovery, it was crazy to think that I was actually living through something like this because of the immense severity of the COVID-19 pandemic and the drastic impact it has made on the world in such a short time. I, with the help of my mentor, changed directions to target the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Anika said that she was inspired to find potential cures to the virus after learning about the 1918 flu pandemic and finding out how many people die every year in the United States despite an annual vaccinations and anti-influenza drugs on the market. And says her work was comprehensive and examined numerous databases and also developed an understanding of the innovation process and as a masterful communicator, her willingness to use her time and talent to help make the world a better place gives us all hope. Here we go. Young scientist, 14-year-old will change the world.
I don't know what that in silico is. You know, like, it's possible that it's something that she could work on in home and doesn't need a lab to do. But
right.
I guess that'd be the only case. Otherwise, I'm dubious that somebody without.
I mean, it says that. I mean, she obviously is a very bright young lady. But I mean, like, it's what you said. I mean, all these people with all their labs and all their crap, and they can't come up with something. Supercomputers.
Yeah.
And they can't come up with anything better than what she is. I mean, why would they? You know, it seems odd to me. But it says here that her next goal is to work alongside scientists and researchers who are fighting to control the morbidity and mortality of the pandemic by developing her findings into an actual cure. So the lead compound.
She's like so
it's some kind of lead compound. There we go.
Something. I
mean, it could be. It could be. So I mean, it says that her effort to find a lead compound to bind to the spike protein of the virus may appear to be a drop in the ocean, but it adds to all these efforts. Develop this molecule further with the help of virologists and drug development specialists, and will determine the success of these efforts. So, I mean, it's theoretical, I guess, that they're trying to go ahead and say that this lead compound could bind to the virus in a way that's effective. So, I mean, if it pans out, I mean, it's great for the rest of us, though, that are ready to kind of end this whole...
The Zoomers are going to save us, bro.
The Zoomers will save us. Here they come. But all right, everybody. So that is our show for today. Unless you wanted to go over your appearance on the stream on Cash's show today.
Just tune in. Yeah, no. We tune in when we sign off. You guys should too. He's over on Kenzo's channel at Class Time.
Class Time on Twitch.
There
you go. Twitch/TV/Class Time. You can find Matt. His appearance over there. He actually got to get a little bit personable. You know, you didn't get to talk about yourself all too often. We're always hanging on edge for your takes.
You like to do your man. You're too newsy. You never want to do like deep, hard-hitting, personal, exploratory dialogue.
Well, I mean,
stick to facts and logic.
I want to inform the people and get them things that they might not get elsewhere. Our unique perspectives. Our sharp legal minds on top of that too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
glad they're enjoying it.
But yeah, go ahead and check that out. It's on Kenzo's channel. It's a Class Time, like Matt said, on Twitch TV, and you can go catch Matt over there on his appearance. And hopefully we can have Mr. Cash on our show sometime in the future. I think he'd be down. He seems like a real cool dude.
We got some good guests in the works.
Yep. We definitely will. Our interviews we're probably going to be set up on Periscope, so keep your eye on Twitter for those. We will continue to do the live shows here on Twitter and maybe even a few after shows on Twitch. But we will just follow us at Unelectable A for all those kinds of updates. Get some dank memes, some edgy takes from there as well. So I think that's going to be it for tonight, folks. So thank you all for joining us.
All right. Later.